So since we're about to start work on the GS, I figured I would give you guys a little walk around so you guys can check her out. So this is a 95 Eclipse GS. It's the non-turbo 420A. Let's see, what did I do? You know, I got this back in Fast and Furious days, like I said, so I got the full, I believe it's called the Combat body kit. I got the rear kit, the rear on it, and then I molded the rear bumper to make it seamless, but you know, never got it painted. It used to have the low spoiler, and I took it off and I put this turbo spoiler on it, and then I just taped up the holes so no water would get in there. So gonna need to fill those holes when it comes time for body work. Then there's the Combat side skirts, and then I started to mold the side skirts in and then never finished. Dog, you breathe loud. Oh, something else that I thought would look cool at the time was the door handle. I was trying to like mold the door handle in so you didn't see, you know, this seam. All you would have is the door handle, and then I was thinking about molding the lock too, and then just, you know, so all you have is this door handle here. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and fix that, get it all back to factory. I don't like it anymore. Then we got the Z3 fenders on it. That's all factory. Carbon fiber hood with the hood pins. And no engine. The 420A is sitting in my garage on an engine stand. Let's see. C3 fender, same thing on this side. Put the 97 and 99 headlights on it. Let's check out inside. Looks like the spiders have made a nice home in here. Jeez. So, I guess you can see I painted everything black and blue because, you know, Fast and Furious. You know, the door panels are also black and blue. And, you know, of course, just like every DSM that's sitting around, it's full of car parts. Oh, this will show you how long it's been since I drove this car. That's a girl I was dating in high school. Picture still sitting in there. I had a triple gauge pod here. I took all the gauges out, put them in other cars since then. Little switch I put here, that was for street glow that I had under here, and I also took that off and put it on a different car I had. Yeah, you know, it was originally the gray interior. I actually have a black dash and all the black trim I pulled from another car a while back that I'll be putting in here. The headliner's all jacked up and gross, so we'll be redoing that. You know, you got the powered by Mitsubishi seat belts. Yeah, all this stuff I did to it back when I was, you know, like 16, 17, maybe even 18. But, you know, when you're a kid, you do that kind of things. What else? Yeah, back full of car parts. Got this big old, it's a OBX exhaust. Doc, you are in the way. Oh, Where is, oh yeah, it's right up there. Right here. OBX. I got plenty of tickets from cops for that. Being too loud. But, yeah. That's her. So, now that we're going to start working on her, I'm going to jack her up and then we got to start pulling the rear end out of that one. So taking the GS apart is going to be pretty much the same as the GSX, so I'm not going to film everything. I mean, you don't need to see the same stuff twice. But the things I do come across that I feel like you may need to know or that are different, I'll film that. But one thing I did want to show you is, you see how small that GS sway bar is? And then you see how big, where is it, the GSX is? That's why I think I got the wrong sway bar bushings. So we'll have to order another set of those. But yeah, I'll get to work on, you know, take the wheels off, disconnect the suspension, and start lowering everything down. There's a couple other things I forgot to mention that I have in here. This is a shift knob from a 3G Eclipse, and it's actually the shift knob out of my first 3G Eclipse GT I had that I ran into a tree one time. That was fun. And then I also have a B&M short throw shifter in here. So just gonna take this all apart so I can pull the e-brake cables. See, here's the cup holder and ashtray I was talking about, since it wasn't in the other car. You just pop it out of there, and then there's those two bolts and the e-brake cable. We got the rear subframe off of the GS. Not too bad. It took me a little less than an hour to get it out, and I pulled my measurements from the bolts, and these are the two bolts for the GS subframe, and this one is the same spot for the GS, or the GSX subframe, and then this hole is where the other bolt goes. So the holes are already there, ready to go. And I still got to pull the gas tank off. For the gas tank, we have to unbolt it, but we also have to get rid of these brackets, because the GS6 straps, bolts actually go into these holes here. So the gas tank's got to come down, and we got to remove this bracket, and I believe there's some on the front as well. But if I remember correctly, this gas tank has like half a tank of gas in it too, so I need to empty that one out as well. Here's a comparison of the two subframes. Here's the GS subframe, the GSX there. You can see how much bigger the GSX subframe is. Yeah. But other than that, these are actually spun around, but everything else pretty much looks similar. When I disassemble this GSX subframe, I'll compare everything. But I mean, just looking at them, they look pretty similar. So I'm working on getting this gas tank out, but I wanted to show you guys something. So you remember when we were taking the GSX gas tank out, there was a cover here and a cover here, and I said, oh, the GS, it only has, you know, the one. Well, apparently I lied, because it has this side, and it has the, whatever this is in the middle. And I was saying that I wanted to still have the covers for the gas tank. Well, it looks like the sound deadening, they already have it perforated in the shape of this cover. So I'm going to go try and, you know, pull this sound deadening off and see if maybe it's marked out for that hole, and if it has the holes for the screws. That would make that a lot easier to put that cover on. And another difference is fuel pump housing here, this one it's held on with actual bolts all the way around, whereas on the GSX it just had the, you know, the twisting cap holding it down. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. Man, that came right off. That was super easy. I just took my putty knife and went right in the middle here and just went straight down, and the whole thing just came off in one piece. But no luck, the circle isn't here and the holes for the screws aren't here, so we'll have to do that ourselves. But we'll just take the GSX cover, and it fits right in there, and we'll just, you know, make our own holes and put the cover on there. Alright, I just had to show you guys this. This is what, I don't know, 18, 19 years of old gas does to to a fuel pump in here. This is crazy. That's rubber gasket. Oh my god. Look at that. That is all rusted out. The bag is all deteriorated. Holy cow. I believe this is actually a Walbro fuel pump that I put in here. I'll have to try to clean it up, take a look at it. I don't remember what one I got way back then, but Jesus, look at that. Yeah, I don't think that was starting anytime soon. So I got the pump off of that thing. Got it cleaned up enough to read the lettering on it. I don't know if I can get this in for you to see. Where'd it go? You can kind of see right there, Walbro. And it's the GSS 342. So that's the 255 LPH pump, which is actually the same pump that we just pulled out of the GSX. So there, Yard is already looking at them. They're same size and everything. Yeah. This one's all jacked up. I even tried using my my battery and wires trick to see if it'll still run. Because I was like, oh man, that'd be cool, you know, be like, you know, Walbro pump sitting in 19 years of old gas and it still runs, but no luck, it won't run. It's all jacked up. So, oh well. But yeah, I had a nice pump in there, dang it. So I'm working on this plate. I'll show you what I got going on. So I set the GSX plate here, and then I traced it out, and then I center punched the holes for the screws. And I don't know if you could see my line right there that I traced out. Then I went to the GSX and I measured from that line to the start of the circle, and that was 3/8, and it was 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, and then 5/8 at the bottom here. And so that came out to be 6 inches. It's a 6-inch circle, so half of 6 inches, 3 inches. And I got my compass here, set it to 3 inches, found my center mark, drew out my circle, and then I drilled out the holes, and I went to the GSX and I popped these are the screws, holders, whatever. Popped these out of the GSX so I could put them in here, but as you can see, they're actually square. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a fat drill bit and then taking my rotary tool, drilling through, taking my rotary tool with this little tiny little metal burr bit on it, and I'm squaring out the hole, and then you know, these little plugs just pop right in there. Yeah, and so you can see, they all line up in there how they're supposed to be. kinda. This one actually looks like it's a little bit off. Where is it? Oh, duh. That's why. There we go. Now you can see they all line up. So now I just gotta cut this big circle out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. It is on. Let me show you here. Oh, these freaking screws, come on now. Booyah! Like it's supposed to be there, right? Yeah, so I got it cut out. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. Like I got a little wide here, but for the most part, it's a circle. You know, I marked it out with my compass, like I said, and then I put a cutoff wheel on my little rotary tool, and I just went all the way around to get that cut out. And then I came back with this burr bit on the drill and got it into the shape of a circle. Then I came back you know, just with this file, a little rounded edge file, and just cleaned it up, got it nice and smooth, got all the burrs off of it, and it's a circle. Now this you really don't have to do if you don't want to, but you know, this is my car and I want it to be as right as possible. So I mean, you will really never need to access this side of the tank, but if you do, you know, you do this, then you got access. So, and it's just like factory, you know, I used all the factory stuff and factory hardware and should be good. Now for this hole, we're not going to need that anymore. So just what I'm going to end up doing with that is I'll take the plate, I'll put silicone on here, you know, put it back on, screw it down, and that'll just seal it up, and we'll leave that cover. And then that one's exactly the same as the GSX. So the only thing we got to do there is the wiring. You know, we got to tie into that plug. But yeah. Alright, so now with the gas tank removed from under here, we can get a better look at what we got going on. So we'll have to remove this bracket, because this is where the GS gas tank mounted, and that's going to be in our way, so we'll get rid of this. And for the back, I put little blue arrows where we have to put some bolts, and so we'll have to put one there and one in that hole. You can kind of see where that's going to have to go, where that one's going to have to go. And those are the bolts for the straps for the GSX gas tank. And then also up front, we can leave this bolt. You know, this is where the GS tank mounted. We can leave it. It's not going to be in the way. But I mean, I guess if you wanted to cut it off, you can. But we need to get a bolt into that hole. And then on the driver's side, you know, here's where the GS was mounted. We'll just go ahead and leave that. But we need to drop a bolt into that hole. I saw other people, they'll like put the bolt in this hole and kind of fish it over to drop it in there, or they'll go up through that hole and fish it over. I think I'm just going to cut a hole right here and just drop it straight down. You know, same thing with this one here. I'll just put a hole here, drop it straight down, make it easy. So yeah, we got to get rid of this bracket. I don't think this bracket will be in the way, because this was another mounting point. But it's just a couple of spot welds on the side, so we'll just pull that one down anyway. And yeah, after we get those two brackets out, I'll have to come up with some bolts. I may have to make a run to the hardware store to find some we can use. And then it's just time to start putting stuff together.
Alright guys, so we got a lot done in this video. We made some pretty good progress. We did a little walk around of the car, got to check out, you know, how the car sits now. So hopefully in the future, when this thing's all done, we can look back on this and be like, man, that's where it came from. And hopefully it's a very dramatic improvement on how it sits now. But yeah, we got a lot done. You know, we got the rear subframe down, got the gas tank out, got that hole cut for the gas tank. So hopefully we can keep up this momentum. You know, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. I need to get those bolts in for the GSX rear subframe so we can get that up in there, but I want to clean up that subframe so that it looks all nice and new before we go putting it up in there. But I also want to clean up under the car, maybe do like some undercoating or something under there so that it looks real nice under there. You know, so I'm not sure right now exactly which direction I'm going to go in, but if you want to check out which direction I do decide to go in, you could check that next video up here. If you haven't seen the previous video where we got everything we needed off that GSX parts car, you can hit that link up here. And if you want to follow along with the build, hopefully you'll hit that subscribe link down here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.